Okay, so picture this. You're at a dinner party, right?
Mm-hmm.
The food is great, everyone's relaxed, and you're feeling pretty confident. Then someone turns to you and they ask you the simplest question imaginable. How old are you?
The easiest question in the book.
It should be, yeah.
Yeah.
But suddenly your brain just, it short circuits. You translate directly from your first language, and you hear yourself say, I have 20 years.
Oof. Yeah. I can feel the silence after that.
Exactly. You see that little flicker of confusion on their face,
Right.
and you realize instantly, oh no, I should have said I am 20. And then it comes, that wave of heat up your neck, your face goes red.
The dreaded red face. It's such a universal moment of panic.
We have all been there. And today, we are doing a deep dive for anyone who has ever felt that heat. We've gone through a stack of sources on the psychology of making mistakes, especially for language learners. But the thing is, this isn't really about vocabulary lists.
No, not at all. The material we've pulled argues that the biggest thing holding you back isn't your tongue, it's your brain. We're going to look at the neuroscience of why that embarrassment hits so hard.
Why a simple grammar mistake can feel like a life or death situation.
Exactly. And then how to actually start rewiring that response.
And just a quick note before we jump in, we know many of you listening might be English learners yourselves, so we're going to keep our pace just a little more deliberate today. We really want to make sure everything we talk about is clear and, actually useful.
I like that. The mission today is to help you go from having a lizard brain that freezes in terror to what the sources call a Teflon brain, where mistakes just slide right off.
Okay, so let's unpack that first example, saying I have 20 years. That is a perfect case of what our sources call L1 interference.
Right, and L1 just means your first language, your native language. And interference is exactly what it sounds like. It's like a radio signal that's not quite clear because another station is sort of jamming the frequency.
So my native language is the stronger signal that's messing things up.
Precisely. You have to remember, your brain is, above all, an efficiency machine. It loves shortcuts. So when you're under pressure, it tries to save energy by just mapping your native language structure directly onto English.
So if you speak French, je m'entends, or Spanish, tengo 20 años, your brain just grabs that have and runs with it.
Exactly. And this is so important. The key takeaway here is that this is not a sign that you're not smart. It's actually a sign your brain is working too hard to be efficient. It's a mechanical problem, not an intelligence problem.
Okay, that makes me feel a little better. But if it's just a mechanical glitch, why does it feel so, so emotional? Why does my heart start pounding?
Well, that's where we get into the biology of fear. This stuff is fascinating. Our sources point to a part of the brain called the amygdala. It's basically the brain's alarm system.
A famous lizard brain.
That's the one. And to get it, you have to think evolutionarily. Thousands of years ago, if you made a big social mistake in your tribe, you could get kicked out.
And being kicked out didn't just mean you were lonely.
No, it meant you were probably going to die. Social rejection was a literal survival threat.
So fast forward to today. I make a grammar mistake ordering a coffee. My logical brain knows it's fine. But my amygdala is screaming, danger, social failure, we're being exiled.
And boom, it triggers the fight or flight response. Your body gets a shot of cortisol, the stress hormone. Your heart races, your palms get sweaty.
So when I freeze and can't remember a word I absolutely know, it's because my body thinks it's about to fight a tiger, not speak a sentence.
Exactly. Your brain is prioritizing survival over grammar. And the research is clear, you just can't access higher level skills like language when you're in survival mode.
That's incredible. And there's another psychological trick at play here too, right? The spotlight effect.
Yes. This is that feeling that there's a giant spotlight shining right on you, that everyone in the room is just staring, waiting for you to mess up.
Yeah, you feel like the main character in everyone else's movie.
Right. But the reality check from the sources is, well, it's a little harsh, but it's also incredibly liberating. They basically say, nobody cares.
It sounds mean, but it's actually so helpful.
It's a wonderful truth. While you're obsessing over your verb tense, the person you're talking to is probably thinking about what to have for dinner, or they're worried about their own problems.
People are generally socially kind. They're just listening for the meaning.
They are. They want to connect with you, not grade you. So realizing that you're the only one holding the spotlight is a huge step.
Okay, so we know why we freeze. It's the lizard brain. But how do we start to change that? The sources bring up Dr. Carol Dweck's work on mindset, which I love.
The growth mindset versus the fixed mindset. This is absolutely crucial for any learner. A fixed mindset says, my ability is set. If I fail, it proves I'm not good enough.
Which makes every single conversation feel like a test.
It does. But a growth mindset sees a mistake as just data. It uses what she calls the power of yet. So it's not, I can't do this. It's, I can't do this yet.
The sources had this great analogy about babies learning to walk. I had no idea about this statistic. Apparently, they fall an average of 17 times an hour.
17 times. Can you imagine an adult doing that?
No. But the baby doesn't fall, look around, and think, oh, how embarrassing. I'm clearly not a walker. I guess I'll just crawl forever.
No, of course not. They don't have that shame mechanism attached yet. They're wired for growth. And scientifically, the mistake, the fall, is actually a correction signal. Without that error, the brain doesn't get the information it needs to build the new pathway.
So the mistake is literally the building block for learning.
Exactly. Mistakes are construction material. If you're not making them, you're not building.
I think another thing that holds people back is this myth that native speakers are, perfect.
Oh, that's a huge one. And it's just not true. English is messy. Native speakers say, we restart our sentences. We make grammar slips all the time.
I do it constantly. I'll start a sentence and realize halfway through I have no idea where it's going.
We all do. So if native speakers aren't perfect, why would a learner hold themselves to that impossible standard? It's about connection, not perfection.
Right. Okay, so speaking of that, let's get a little more practical. The sources talk about a concept called intelligibility.
Yes, and this is a great way to filter your worries. Intelligibility is just a fancy word for how much of your message got through. It's not about how correct it was, but how understood it was.
The sources used a driving analogy that I thought was really helpful. They talk about bumps versus blocks.
Right. So imagine you're driving a car and the destination is being understood. A grammar mistake, like saying he have a dog, is just a small bump in the road.
The car might jiggle a bit, but it keeps moving forward.
Exactly. The listener totally understands you. But a communication block is different. That's like hitting a brick wall. The car stops.
So what's an example of a block?
It's usually a pronunciation error that completely changes the meaning. Like if you mean to say, I am hungry, but you accidentally say, I'm angry.
Oof. Yeah, that definitely changes the conversation.
It really does. That's a block. The meaning is lost. So the goal should be to focus on avoiding the walls and not to obsess over every little bump. If the car's still moving, you're doing great.
But there's something that can stop the car even before you start it, and that's stress. The sources introduce something called the affective filter.
This is a hypothesis from the linguist Dr. Stephen Krashen. The idea is that there's this invisible wall in your brain. And when you're stressed or bored or afraid, that filter goes UP.
And when the filter's up?
Nothing gets in. New information can't reach the part of your brain that acquires language. You literally stop learning. It's why you can know the grammar, but if you're terrified, you can't access it. Your brain has locked the gate.
So the priority isn't just study more, it's lower the filter.
Exactly. You have to feel safe. Your brain needs to know that there isn't a tiger in the room.
Which brings us to the idea of safe spaces. The sources suggest practicing in places where there is, like, zero judgment.
And some of the suggestions are great, like talking to your pet or using an AI language partner.
Because they allow you to separate fluency from accuracy. Can you break that down?
Sure. Accuracy is about getting the grammar perfect, the rules. Fluency is about the flow, the rhythm. And it's really hard to practice both at the same time when you're starting out.
Just not enough brain power to go around.
Exactly. So talking to your cat lets you practice the flow, the fluency, without any fear of being corrected. Your cat does not care about your verb tenses.
He barely cares that I'm there.
Right. But doing that lowers your affective filter and builds momentum.
Okay, so let's get really practical. What do we do with the mistakes we make? The sources recommend a tool I really like. The mistake journal.
Yes, this is all about metacognition.
Thinking about your thinking.
Right. The problem is we usually attach drama to mistakes. I'm so stupid. The journal helps you turn that drama into data.
So instead of writing, I was terrible today, you write what?
You write, pattern. I forgot the S on third-person verbs again. You become a scientist observing your own language. When you objectify it, you take the emotion out. It's just a problem to solve.
And this ties into another concept that kind of blew my mind. Interlanguage. The idea that your bad English isn't actually bad at all.
This is such a powerful way to reframe it. Interlanguage is this idea that you're creating a third language, a bridge between your native tongue and English. It has its own logical rules.
They use the example of a learner saying, I eat at dinner.
Right, which to a native speaker sounds wrong, but think about what the brain is doing there. It learned the rule, add for the past, and it applied that rule.
So it's actually following a pattern it learned. It's being logical.
Exactly. I eat it is a brilliant mistake. It's evidence of a brain that is processing rules and experimenting. It proves you're building the bridge.
That is so cool. So it's a sign of progress, not failure.
Yes. Your English isn't broken. It's under construction. It changes everything.
Okay, so let's shift to the social side. You're out there, you make a mistake, maybe someone corrects you. How do you handle it? The sources bring up Daniel Kahneman's peak end rule.
This is from psychology. Kahneman found that we don't remember an experience based on the average of every moment. We remember two things: the emotional peak and the end.
The ending is what sticks.
It really is. You could have a messy conversation full of little bumps, but if you end it confidently, with a smile, a warm goodbye, that's what the other person will remember.
So you can basically fix a messy conversation by just sticking the landing.
Yes. And that's why the sources say, whatever you do, do not end by apologizing.
The sorry trap, this feels huge.
It's massive. We have this instinct to say, sorry, my English is bad, or sorry for my mistake. What that does psychologically is it positions you as inferior. It tells them and it tells you that you're doing something wrong.
So what's the fix?
You just flip the script. You replace sorry with thank you.
So instead of sorry, I'm slow,
You say thank you for your patience. Instead of sorry for the mistake, you say thank you for the correction.
I love that. It treats the correction as a gift, not a failure.
Exactly. It shows confidence, which helps lower your filter, and it makes the other person feel helpful instead of annoyed. It's a win-win.
Now, what about the physical act of being corrected? Someone says, oh, you mean you ate. What you do?
You can't just nod. The sources call this the echo habit. You have to remember that language is a motor skill. It's physical. Your mouth muscles have to learn the right shapes.
So just hearing it isn't enough.
No, you need to use your mouth. If someone corrects you, immediately echo the correct phrase. Say it out loud, twice. I ate. Thank you.
You're creating muscle memory in that exact moment.
You are. You're creating a positive feedback loop, and you're letting your muscles feel the correct path. It's so simple, but so effective.
But what if the person correcting you isn't so nice about it?
Well, that's where you need social resilience. The sources use this great visual for it, the Teflon brain.
Like a nonstick pan.
Exactly like a nonstick pan. When a rude comment or a mistake happens, you can't let it stick and burn. You have to develop the ability to let it just slide right off.
Because if it sticks, your filter goes up and you freeze.
Right. And the whole game is about keeping the car moving. Resilient learners let the bad moments slide off and they just keep going.
So if we zoom out,
Yeah.
we've really gone on a journey here. From the lizard brain.
All the way to the Teflon brain. It really is about reframing the whole experience. You start by seeing that fear is just a biological false alarm.
You realize nobody is watching you with a spotlight.
You start seeing mistakes as data, not drama, and you see your English not as bad, but as interlanguage, a bridge being built.
Right. It's a bridge to other people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay if it has a few cracks, so long as people can get across. And then you finish strong.
You swap sorry for thank you, and you echo corrections to build those pathways. It turns the whole process from scary into something almost scientific.
So here's a final thought for everyone listening. We just talked about that echo habit. So think about one phrase or one correction you've heard recently. Something new.
Don't just think about it.
Exactly. Say it. Right now, wherever you are. Say it out loud twice. Start building that new path in your brain today.
And remember, the baby, you fall, you get up. It's not failure. It's just learning.
Thanks for diving deep with us today. Keep building those bridges.
Take care, everyone.